Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Morello, and we've been going through this journey discussing the 52 wealth principles to make yourself a millionaire. We're on wealth principle 26, which is study the businesses and people that are performing the way you want your business to perform. Now, that's a long way of saying study the competition, find out what they're doing, and then do it better. Unfortunately, most people don't do this. Most entrepreneurs come to the business and they see their competition and then they turn in the other direction. They stay as far away from them as possible so they can't be seen by their competition. They don't want the competition to copy them, but they won't go and copy their competitors. And I want to be very clear. I've used this word competition very loosely. I only use it because it's shorter than people whose businesses are performing better than yours. Hanson Cam, if you recognize, I don't believe there's competition, but it is a shorter word. We can also use the word successful entrepreneur. That's in exactly the same business that you're in. But I think that most people see their competitors as something to deplore, as something to avoid, as something to not follow. Whereas I found my greatest success in following, copying, mastering, and beating my competition through just being better, not through sabotage. I don't believe in sabotaging anybody. In fact, I have sent business to my competitors because I did believe they were still better than me. Hands the camera if you think that's okay to send business to somebody else if they're doing a better job than you. So I believe in operating business in a moral, ethical manner where sometimes I know a competitor is going to do better than I'm going to do. I'm not going to take the business. I'll pass it along, send it along. So competing with people is a way to fail. Admitting that somebody is better and then learning from them, mastering. This is an experience that every entrepreneur must grasp. You cannot lose if you are the best, but you cannot win if you're mediocre. You'll just get by. And so studying the people who are better than you is a secret to success. If you're new to this process, if you're new to the 52 Weeks to Wealth, throw your hands to the camera, throw them up like you just don't care, throw them in the air. John, please, see you every week, brother. Actually, it's been a little while, but it's good to see you, man. So the reason I started the 52 Weeks to Wealth was because I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires. Sans Cam, if you've seen that before, you know, I wear the shirt, I wear the cup. The idea was that if we can help more people become financially free, then they would go and help more people become financially free. The key is 100 millionaires who are built with a desire to help 100 more millionaires, to build 100 millionaires. And some people have told me that they don't believe that millionaires are good, that they believe that millionaires are unethical and they do things wrong. Well, the truth is to our community is that you must do everything morally, ethically, and legally in order to become a millionaire the right way, in order to build a sustainable business that lasts for a long time. And the other side to it is you can't give back if you're broke, right? And not having money certainly couldn't be the right thing to do. If you have family or friends who you want to take care of, I was actually on a phone call with one of my students yesterday who is looking to bring his family here over from India, looking to give them a place and really support them and take them to the next level. And it takes money to do that. He cannot help and support his family if he doesn't have a high income. Hands to the camera if you recognize it takes a lot more money to support 4 families than it does one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no playing games now. Right? And he told me that. He said, look, the reason I've got to make this level of money is because I've got this level of responsibility. So your competition is setting their goal a little bit bigger than you. That's probably why they're making more money than you. If you look at them, they've probably got a bigger why if they're making more than you. By the way, they're not competition if they're not making more than you. So I want to first start with identifying your competition. The first thing about them is that they are producing at a higher level. Second, they're in your market. They should be local. They should be in your market. Third, they're getting a better review. They have more reviews online. They have more reviews, testimonials, people who are speaking properly, like proudly of them. Like, man, they really crushed the business. So they've got the volume in sales. They've got the in the same location as you, and they've got that customer service that is bringing more business back to them. Hands to the camera if you know somebody in your market who's doing this right now. There's somebody out there who's crushing it. Hands to the camera. Yeah. Excellent. I just want to verify. And Dorita, can you keep an eye on the room? Make sure that we're bringing people in. Awesome. So the first step is identify. The second step is learn more about them. I've given this information, this advice to entrepreneurs before, and they flounder. For some reason, when I tell somebody who owns a hair salon, go into other hair salons and get your hair done, they're like, I don't want to do it. I'm not going into my competitor's hair salon. Or they'll tell me, yes, I'll do it. And then 3 weeks go by, 4 weeks go by, 5 weeks go by. They still haven't walked into another salon. And I think that, hands to the camera, if you recognize, if I said go use a competitor's system, you'd be a little bit concerned about it. There's a little discomfort there. Now, a little bit. Some of you, okay. So in Alchemist Nation, I know you all got balls. Each one of you is a little mentally strong. You're like, shit, if that's the process, I'm going through the process. Hands to camera, if that's the truth, you don't give a shit. You're just like, hey, if this works, I'm going to do it. All right. So yes, it is true, but a lot of people have fear. A lot of people get concerned about going and studying their competition, afraid that they might be found out, afraid that they might now study them. The truth is, your competition is running better than you. They're running hotter than you. Their business is very busy. And so they're probably not going to pay attention to. They're not going to notice. If anything, the biggest form of flattery is copying someone else's success. Copying somebody is the biggest form of flattery. In fact, I've said that to many people. They say, oh, I don't want to compete with you. I don't want to copy you. And it puts a smile on my face. You can't compete with me. There's no way. It's impossible. I'm on such another level. And if anybody shows up bigger than me in my space, I'll either dominate said space or go to a different space. I'm not concerned about it. I'll just always rise to the top. I want you to think of yourself and your business like a balloon filled with helium that is pulled and submerged underwater. So you're not where you belong, right? You belong up in the atmosphere, but something in life happened to you where you got pulled under the water. Say it was your parents, it was your political leaders, or it was your boss, whatever happened through your life. But let's just say you're not financially where you belong. Hands to the camera if that is true, if you know you're capable of making a lot more. All right, so you're like a balloon filled with helium, dragged to the bottom of the ocean. And your job, what we do here on the 52 Weeks to Wealth, is cut that line. We're just cutting the line. And so imagine that helium in that balloon wants to go to where it belongs. It wants to rise to the top where it belongs. And so you cut the little string that's been holding you down. The one thing, by the way, you're just one principle away. We don't know which principle it is. There are 52, but you're just one principle away from doubling your income. That's why we go through the whole process throughout the year. So you cut the string. What is a balloon full of helium going to do? Once it recognizes it's free, it's going to start traveling to the top. Now, what happens if it hits a submarine on its way up there? We're talking like a big submarine. It's just going to bounce off the hull and keep going back up, right? It's not like when you know where you're going, nothing can stop you. Answer the camera if you know that's true. Doesn't matter how big the object is. Doesn't matter what's going on. If you hit an iceberg as you're going up and like, okay, wow, now I don't have sunlight. By faith, something will come and grab your string as it's swimming along, and it will bring you to where you belong. Hands to the camera if you know it's true. If you're open to opportunities, if you're paying attention, something will come along that will move you to where you're supposed to be going. There is no glass ceiling. There is no iceberg in this world. There is only this mindset. So we understand that we're going to study our competition. And here's how we study them. We go and we pay them. Pay the competition. There is no faster way to get to the source. Go and use them. Leverage the competition. I have, as an agent, gone and used other agents. I close with other agents all the time. Sometimes I close with my own agents in my office. Sometimes I close with agents outside of my office. But I got my pulse. I got my hand on the pulse of the market. I know what's going on. Other investors, you could say I compete with other investors, right? Hands to camera if you think you're competing with other investors, or you know that there's no way you are. Yeah. Hands to camera if you know there's no competition out there. Excellent. That's the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, you only compete with your yesterday's self. You only compete with your yesterday's self. You only compete with last year's version of you, right? You think you're sexy last year, you're going to be sexier this year. You're going for double the net worth, double the equity, better body, better relationships, right? You got to look at yourself and say, okay, you did good last year. And by the way, you do have to be supportive, always supportive. Like we talk about in the mentorship, always celebrate your successes, always celebrate the things you've done well. Support yourself and recognize that last year was a good year, even if you believe that it was a bad year. At least this year you're doing double. Hands to if you're committed to doubling your net worth, doubling your income. Hell yeah. Let's get it. So now we're gonna study our competition by going in and actually using their systems. When we were building our funnel, we went through so many other funnels from other competitors, people who were marketing better than us, faster than us. We study their hooks, we study their funnels, we study their videos, we study their landing pages, we study their customer service experience. And if I can afford them, I pay them to go through and study their course. And it's the case, you know, me and the other coaches have taken a lot of coaching. Yeah.
So just to add to what you're saying, I think 3 days ago, we bought a $2,000 course just to see how they package it, how they advertise it, what their email sequence is about, exactly what their funnel is for this, because we're moving into a new vertical and we want to be able to see exactly how somebody else in a parallel market than we are is talking to their clients. When we start really looking at it, how other people are doing it, it takes a whole lot of the experimentation time out so we can move further faster. And what Walter's talking about is really just removing time and mistakes from something, because no two people are ever going to do it alike. Even if they're parallel, even if they're doing the same exact thing, it's not going to be same because they have different experience bringing it to the table. So we bought the program. We're looking at it. We're breaking it down. We're seeing exactly where they're doing things that we aren't. We're seeing where we're doing things they aren't. And we're going to present a product to our corporations we're working with that's going to be far superior to what we were doing before because of it.
It's the subtitle of your book.
It's the subtitle of my book.
Tell Christine we said hi. How to stop overthinking and following the brilliance of others. If you haven't read Dr. Terry's book, Quit Taking Your Own Bad Advice, which for some reason is showing up on my green screen crazy right now. Because it's
green, but that looks awesome because all of the green is visible. And if you want the audio copy, just read it out loud.
Have somebody, if somebody in this community reads it out loud, we want you to share it with us. Just share the audio version.
Emphasis added.
Emphasis added. Yeah, please. So I want you to do an exercise. We're going to do an exercise together.
Preferably with a Boston accent. Very deep, thick Boston accent would be great.
The odds are it will be a Boston accent. Somebody here will do it. Are you ready for an exercise? Hey, it's the camp. You ready for an exercise? I like full engagement. So I want you to grab a pen and paper. And at the top, I want you to write 2021 me. You can put your name or you could put just the word me. 2021. So this is the old version, right? Already this is the old version. We're looking into the future. On the other side, 2022. Now, you can't fill this out until you've gone and studied your competition. But I want you to go and look at your competition. Find somebody who's doing really well. Be willing to pay them. Be willing to take them out to lunch. Be willing to ask questions. It's going to be some ego and it's going to be some outside of the comfort zone stuff. Like this will be a little uncomfortable. Hands to camera if you're okay with that. If you know it's okay to be uncomfortable. Excellent. You're going to go out and you're going to have a conversation, or you're going to study, you're going to learn, you're going to go through their funnel like Terry was just saying he did. And I want you to find the things that you're doing well. This is good. This is the pats on the back. Like, all right, okay. Yeah, I'm doing good. This is probably why I am collecting money. I am in business. I am doing some of these things well. And more importantly, identify the things that you could do better. Identify the things that you could do better. This is on the customer service side. On the marketing side, same process. Same process. A company's marketing is probably where most of our community's health is drowning or draining, right? We want you to go and study marketing. We want you to fill the funnel. I believe that most of you are very good at customer service. I really do. I'm looking around the screen and I know everybody. I know everybody here is great at customer service. Anybody who's been through the mentorship. By the way, hands to the camera if you've been through the mentorship. You're an Alchemist graduate. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. Successful ladies and gentlemen who are committed to being millionaires, who are on the path to make their first million or their second million, or in some of your cases, that pentamillion, that fifth million. You are the motivation. You are the reason. You are the success behind our business. The more we see your success, the more excited I get about building 100 more millionaires. The more excited I get about expanding this beyond what it started. So I want you to look at your past clients and think the same thing. I've had some really good clients that really made me feel good, that I know I really was impactful for. And I want you to write some of their names down. 3, 4, 5 clients that you really, really you felt impactful in their lives. And if you own a business and you have a high volume of clients like Melanie Santos, then write down your managers' names, because your managers are your clients. Those are the people you service. It's not really the main client anymore. It's now your team, your sales team. And for me, when I was running a team of agents, my investors were not my client. It was actually the agents that were my client. My customer service was my team. So think of it that way. Hands to the camera if you understand that exercise. Write down your people who have really inspired you, because that's important. Those are the people you've done well with. And on the other side, I want you to write down the people who you have pissed off, who have not worked out for you. Everybody has one of those clients. Hands to the camera if you know those clients, like they came through and they just were like, this ain't for me. Believe it or not, even we have those clients. Even in Alchemist Nation, we've had people come in and say, I think that you're too focused on making money. No shit. You think that's a problem, huh? All right. Okay. Maybe it is. There have been people who've come through the program and just not been satisfied, or they've come through and messaged us and said, hey, I've never shown up to any of the calls. Can I get my money back? Hands to the camera if you're never going to get anything out of this if you don't participate. The truth is you got to show up. And in those situations, we send the money back. But it always is in the back of my head, what could I have done to get her to go on the calls? What could I have done to encourage her to get through the process? Or maybe she's not a calls person, right? What product could I have created that would have allowed her to move through the program in a different way, in a way that would be for her? Maybe she needs a book. Maybe she needs an online video, or maybe she needs an audio, or maybe she needs just a bullet point steps, right? Maybe it's something simpler. That hands to the camera if you recognize you can do this. You can analyze even the customers who weren't happy or satisfied with you. Maybe there is something to what they said. Excellent. And go to your competitors. Man, this is the easiest thing. The easiest thing. Gary Keller wrote a book called Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Hands to the camera if you're a real estate agent or you carry a real estate license. Excellent. Hands to the camera if you've read that book, the red book. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's smart, right? It's smart. He nailed it. He was like, look, this is how you make $1 million as an agent. Just do it. I read that book 3 times before I was successful in that arena. And because the book lays out the path to success, I realized I don't want to build $1 million as a real estate agent, because I knew the path and I said, that's not my path. I got as far as I wanted to get with it, and I shifted over to real estate investing full time. I used all of the skills to invest. Hands to the camera if you read Real Estate Investor, Millionaire Real Estate Investor, from also Gary Keller. Ironically, he's writing the good books, So that one was a lot more in line with me. That strategy was much more in line. I knew from following my competitor whether I wanted to be in this business 10 years from now, right? We still carry our real estate license and we operate more along the lines of Than Merrill, where Than just recruits a team and has other people run that team. I think that's the natural line for me and my business partner, Ron. But for some agents who come through, they want to crush it, high intensity Gary Keller style, then that book makes sense. There are people in here outside of real estate. Hands to the camera if you're outside of real estate. Excellent. So then the E-Myth is going to be a really good book to read, the systems side of it. The system side of the E-Myth is fantastic. Is Mike Shine on the call today, or is he out camping? I think he's camping with his
He's in
family.
Arcadia, Maine. Totally not available.
Wow. So I got a book that I've got to have somebody review. Who's read Quit Taking Your Own Bad Advice? Who's read this book? Ryan McDermott. Ryan, will you take Mike Shine's place and give us a book review?
Oh man, that's a lot of stress.
If anybody can handle it, it'd be a Series 7 financial planner.
Jeez.
Ryan
Yeah.
McDermott, the man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the book is
How about
pretty
the author?
We're getting to that, Tom.
No, the book. If you haven't read it, the book is pretty blunt and to the point about which leads right into the to the author. But no, it really just kind of gets at you like we have kind of a natural way that, like, when we're posed with something that we have to do in our business, if we're thinking about it from a business perspective, some natural thought will come in on how to do something. And, there's a small percentage of people that are really successful in any business. And if you're not one of them, you should probably not be doing the thing that you're thinking about. You should be probably trying to find out what those really successful people are. In my industry, I think it's something like 5% of the people in my industry make like 70% of the money. So if I'm not one of those 5% people, I should not be doing the things that I'm thinking in my head. I should be finding out what those people are and or people are doing and emulate that. And so I don't know if I did a good job at summarizing. It was a lot under pressure, but
Let's give Ryan McDermott a round of applause. I think Mike Shine might be in trouble. There might be a replacement for him if he ever decides not to show up again. And since we do have the author of the book here today, why don't we ask Dr. Terry Wager, what inspired you to write this book?
That's a great question. But before I do, somebody said, "Can I?" And I'm not exactly sure who it was, but I would love to hear from you. Tom Osbeck. Let's hear it.
I just wanted to share, because it's along your theme today of getting outsider and competitors' advice. I had an entrepreneurial client who told me that he, in the early days, set up computer training centers, and he got to 7 of them. And he and his partner's idea was, we don't know what we're doing. We just don't know what we're doing. And we'd like to expand to 50 or so, but we don't know what we're doing. So they got the idea to go to McDonald's and ask McDonald's for their plan, their 2-inch thick playbook, because they felt they needed something like that. The businesses were similar, but certainly not competitors. And so McDonald's agreed to give them this playbook, which for $100,000, which was just helped their business considerably. And he said one of the things that was unique, maybe there's a bunch of things that are unique, but he said one of the things that was unique within McDonald's was that they were the first franchise that set up an excellent infrastructure, so that if a owner of a McDonald's was having problems or hiring people or location or traffic or something like that, he could go to the infrastructure that was to support him, to give him the answers and the guidance he needed to proceed. So anyway, I just want to pass that on because it seemed like it was very fitting for your theme this week.
Let's
Yeah,
give
for
Tom
sure.
Osbeck a round of applause.
Yeah. And what inspired me to write this book is that I have worked with thousands of people that tend to listen or go and seek advice, and then they end up going and doing the thing that they thought they were going to do in the first place. And what's happening for all of us is we listen to ourselves, or we interpret the information from other people. And I'm sure that, Walter, you have had the experience of giving somebody some specific advice about how to do something, and they go do it totally different. Then they come back to you and go, "I did exactly what you said." And then when they explain what they did, it's totally different. It's because our head is an interpreter, and it brings every piece of information into how we already see the world. And so I've seen this over and over and over again. And the only way that we can really start to make deep, lasting change and have the results that we're looking for on the bullet train of action is to be able to see where we lie to ourselves, see where we actually change the information to keep ourselves stuck in one place. And so it doesn't matter what happens, we change the information that's outside of us into how we see the world. And then no matter what happens, the world looks the same way to us. And so people treat us the same way, deals go down the same way. We aren't able to change our monetary situation, our friendships, our intimate relationships. We get really stagnant and stuck in that rut because we're listening to our own voice. We were talking about it before we went live, that we just have this habit of listening to our ego. We don't know it's our ego because it's very, very tricky. And so I wanted to write this book so people could really get this idea that there is a piece of us that is always going to change the information to what we already see. Doesn't matter what happens. When we can see that that's happening, no matter what's happening, we can start actually using the information that's coming into us in a different way by checking with ourselves about, wait a minute, how am I wrong about this situation? How am I doing it to myself again? And the more that we focus on how we're changing the information to how we already see it and asking us how we're doing it again, how we're making our same mistake, and checking with the other people who are the brilliance that helps us to move forward. The more we get coaching, the more we get teammates, the more open we are to how we make our mistakes, the better our life becomes. When we can really identify where we're lying to ourselves, that's where we start to grow.
Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. That is the truth. And it's a great book. If you haven't picked up Quit Taking Your Own Bad Advice, go to Amazon, buy the book. And no, we don't have it on audio yet. Although on Facebook, somebody just messaged me and said that they would, if we send them the book, they will audio record it for us because they're in the middle of a coaching voice lesson. So for them, it's just practice. So for a soldier on Facebook, let's give him a round of applause. I love that. This again goes back to what we're talking about in some of our other wealth principles. Speak and you shall receive. Just mention what you're looking for and the universe will provide as long as your megaphone is large enough. So who would like to see me teach a lesson that I learned from one of my competitors? I call it the tensioner. In speaking, what you'll see for sales, and by the way, this is for every salesperson in the room, the tensioner is a tool for closing on a sale. Closing on a sale. Do you think this would be valuable for you in your business? All right, then I'll do it. This is fun. So I was at an event and I was studying how to be a better trainer, somebody who could sell from stage. And at the time, I didn't have the mentorship. I was just selling this online training program. Now the mentorship is much more involved. It's a much better, robust product. So when I do the tensioner, I have a lot more passion in it. But the teacher, he was speaking on stage and I saw him do this. And the idea was, you're tensioning the product. Now, when I do something like this, and I say, look, you're running out of time, and I want you to feel tight. I want you to feel the pressure of being wrung completely dry when you see this motion. So imagine I've got this program, this training that could change your life. You're going to make $1 million. It only costs $1,200. What better return on investment is there for you in this world than spending $1,000 or $1,200 to learn the process to make $1 million? And imagine that opportunity is running out every week, every day, every minute that goes by. You're missing the opportunity to become more successful. Now, I want you to visualize yourself going through the rest of your life. By the way, we're still continuing with the tensioner. We're raising the tension as we do this. The first step was just create the context, set the context. And now as you're going through life, everything you grasp, every opportunity you take is one more chance, draining a little bit more life from you because you don't have the knowledge to get you to that successful position, but you're working hard. Everything you do, you grab, you work hard, and you squeeze out a little bit more of your juice. Hands to the camera if you've been told to work hard before. Hands to the camera if you've put in the effort, you've worked really hard. Hands to the camera if you recognize that didn't make you a millionaire. The hard work isn't what does it. I know it's bullshit. All the gurus still say that though. It's the right work. It's the right work, and it's not really work. It's the right decisions. You know, ask any one of the millionaires on this call right now. It's not from hard work. It's from we bought something, plain and fucking simple. We went and we spent money on an asset, or we didn't even spend money. Sometimes we put an asset under agreement. We contracted an asset. Hands to the camera if you're a millionaire. All your net worth is in something you own. Yeah, it's crazy. That's nuts, right? So our net worth is in things we acquired. Has nothing to do with hard work. Now, is there hard work to holding on to the assets sometimes? Yes, sometimes, but that's not where we made our money. We made our money on the acquisition. We made our money on the acquisition. So when it comes to coaching, right, if you don't make your money on the acquisition, everything you do is going to take a little bit out of you, just a little bit more life, squeezing a little bit more, where the pressure is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So if you just made the right purchase, you know you'd be able to move forward faster. So the mentorship is, you can go to gualtermello.com/mentor, or you go to gualtermello.com/GA. You could sign up to learn in 8 weeks how to become a millionaire. Now, I can't make you a millionaire overnight. I know many of you have been on the call many times, see me do this, talked about the mentorship. You know, it's one of the things you want to do for whatever reason. You got thousands of different things in your head. One, no, I don't have the money right now, or I'm in too many programs right now to take this one on, or I don't have, I don't know if I commit to this program. Hands to the camera if you know people experience those emotions. Those are things that people have thought when they hear me talk about it. Absolutely. And people are going to experience those emotions when you're in a sales call, when you're having a conversation with somebody. Here's where the buck stops. If you're studying the competition and you've mastered their sales program, you know that they always handle those objections right up front. They handle those objections right up front, where I'm going to handle those as well. Look, if you don't have the money for it, when will you have the money for it? I mean, we're talking about $1,200 to make $1 million. The ROI is the best ROI on the planet. You're never going to find a stock that offers that with that kind of guarantee. Now, it may take 3 to 5 years, but hands to the camera if it's okay if it takes 3 to 5 years to go from 50,000 to $1 million or 100,000 to $1 million. Yes, I think most people would find that to be a great return on investment. Well, what if I don't have the $1,000? If you don't have $1,200 to invest in yourself to make $1 million, you've got bigger problems. That's the truth. If you can't find $1,200 to go make $1 million, you've got bigger problems. And so here's a series of books, right? Because the books are only $7 a piece. Why don't you go and study these books, maybe go make some money and then come back? And I just hand people Rich Dad Poor Dad, send them on their way, and hopefully they come back with some mindset shifts where it's time to go earn. They recognize life's short, right? We don't have that much time on the planet. We've got to go and do these things now so that we can live a great life. I would rather not take 30 years to make $1 million and make $1 million this year and spend 30 years figuring out how to impact the world in a better way. Hands to camera if you know you could be that person who changes the planet. You make $1 million this year, 2 million the year after, 4 million the year after, 8 million, 16, 32 million, get to 64 million, get to 120 million. A few years from now, you could be the person who has an impact on environmental change. Hands to the camera if you know that's true. If you committed to doubling your net worth, doubling your income, that's true. So inspiring, right? So when you're dealing with a client and they're feeling a little like, I don't know if it's worth it, remind them why it makes sense to go get the end product. The end product in our program is success. It's a network. It's getting all of these people in this room on your side. By the way, if I had a deal that was going to help make you $100,000, would you go find 50,000 to get into it? If I had a deal that was going to help you make 100,000, would you find 50 to get into it? Hands to the camera if you know that's true. Hell yeah. That's what this community is doing all the time with each other. All the time. I see it. I see people finding deals but don't have the money. I see people having the money but not having the deal. I see people willing to go and do things for each other because they just want to be a part of it. There's a lot of power in this network. There's a lot of vitality in this network, and just the friendliness. I want to go to the top with people I care about, people I love, people that I can hang with. I told Irina all the time, like, my problem when I go out in public is there's a lot of boring ass people out there. There's a lot of people who just want to talk about sports with me. There's a lot of people who just want to talk about what happened on a TV show the other day. And like, I can deal with it for a few minutes. Then I'm like, okay, well, you have a great day. I'll buy the drink and I'm out, right? I just have no patience for normal conversation. What I love is when I'm with any one of you, we're talking about your business. We're talking about opportunities. We're talking about your mindset. We're talking about the real stuff in this planet that can actually change things. Hands to the camera if you know what you're doing is important, that you are important, that your mission is important, that your business is important. That's the truth. And so for everybody who signs up for the mentorship, you've committed to me, I'll commit to you. That's how this works, right? The reason we take money is because I want skin in the game, just like the bank. Just like when I buy a piece of real estate, the bank wants 20%. They want skin in the game. They want to know I'm serious, that I'm not going to just stop paying my mortgage. Well, it's the same thing. We charge the money in the mentorship to make sure that you stay in the mentorship, to make sure you follow through. I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. That means I can only take in serious people. I only take on serious clients, right? Imagine if I'm wasting my time with somebody who has no desire to help other people. Fuck, that's a waste of time. I want people who are looking to help build people after they get theirs. That's my only desire, is to make this planet a better place. Will you get rich doing it? You can't help it. You can't help but make a lot of money when you're helping people get rich. I promise you, you help build millionaires, they're going to give you deals. They're going to give you opportunities to get into their businesses. They're going to give you opportunities to buy real estate, to invest. They're going to bring you so many opportunities. You can't hang out with 100 millionaires and not get filthy freaking rich. Hands to the camera if you know that's the secret, right? That's how I build millionaires. I teach you to build millionaires, inspire you, keep expanding you. Yes. Give yourselves a round of applause. That, by the way, is my close today. So if you're interested in the mentorship, go to waltermorello.com/mentor. And if you want to hear more from millionaires, stick around for a few more minutes. Let's give our millionaire coaches a round of applause before we bring you on. And let's give you a round of applause, my future millionaires, people who are going to inspire others once you get yours. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. That dedication each week to each wealth principle. Wealth principle 27 next week is your steadiness of faith. So we're going to talk, this is more of a spiritual side of building wealth, having that clarity and faith in what you're doing. And we'll talk about how to build it, some of the tips and tricks. So let's talk to the coaches. Ryan McDermott, I know you usually have a soccer game that comes up with the kids, so let's bring you first.
I love how I'm branded to soccer games. It's awesome.
Soccer and the net worth tracker. It could be worse.
There we go. There we go. That's a good solid combo. Yeah, no, this is a great lesson. I want to expand on just kind of what I was saying before when we were talking about the book, just about the idea of talking to competitors. I love that exercise. My first business, I didn't do that. I was so guarded. Everything I was doing, my little business, I could block everybody out. I don't want anybody knowing what I'm doing, and I don't care about what they're doing. And I got to a point, and where I couldn't grow anymore, and I had to sell it. So I sold it, and I worked for the acquirer for a couple of years. And what I found, the acquirer was a business that was far beyond where I had ever gotten, and it was fascinating because what the founders of that company were doing, they were meeting regularly with people they were directly competing against. So all the top people in that industry were all talking to each other. Fascinating. And that, I didn't totally get it while I was watching it, but I took note of it, of course. And, the more and more, I'm in communities like this and I'm working with coaches, it's kind of paramount and necessary to do because you can't get there all by yourself. You need to get ideas and understand what other people are up to. So anyway, that's me for today. Thanks.
Let's give Ryan McDermott a round of applause. I love that. That's some great insights. And it was the same thing when we built this community of coaches, and we're looking to build the community even larger of coaches, maybe not in the mentorship, but in the Alchemist Nation. We're looking to get more coaches who maybe they haven't become millionaires, but they have some sort of gift that they can share with others. Within the mentorship, We are very, very specific. We're teaching how to become a millionaire. And so all of our coaches must be millionaires, must have the net worth or have the income of a millionaire. Hands to camera if you believe that's the right thing to do. That's the moral, ethical thing to do. You've got to get high income earners, accredited investors, teaching how to become accredited investors. I can't stand those training programs where I see some kid who maybe did one wholesale deal and is like, I'm gonna teach you how to be a millionaire. It's like, bro, like go make a mill. And then if you make it, keep it. Like try keeping $1 million. All right. That's a whole other process. What we build with you is how to build it, maintain it, keep it, grow it, expand it. That first $1 million is a bitch. The second $1 million is inevitable. In this community, the second $1 million is inevitable. We will get you there. And Ryan brought that up. And to me, it's, Terry, Doug, Ryan, Mike, Mitch's, all of these guys could be considered competitors, right? Like I know coaches who would never work with Mitch because he's a coach, right? Or they would never work with Ryan or Terry because they're coaches. They'd be like, oh my God, like that person is my competition. I couldn't do anything with them. Whereas we see it as I couldn't do it without them, right? There's no way I could do this on the scale that I want to do it, the quality that I'm looking to deliver, the impact that I'm looking to have. I couldn't do it without people who are smarter, better, faster, more intelligent than I am in their specific arenas. And so I attached myself to the competition. This is another aspect. Your competitors could be your partners. They really could be. They like look at your business differently. Now, if they're not open to it, hey, no problem. Not all coaches are open to doing what we do in here. We have a very unique, open-minded group of coaches who are really about the big vision, really about the future, really about what we're capable of creating. And some of our coaches have gone through and changed some of their programs for this community to be able to deliver and get to that higher level. In fact, all of them, every one of the coaches has in some way tweaked their program to be a better service to this community. Hands to camera if you know that's collaboration. That's power. That's real dedication. These men and women really care about your success. Speaking of women, Dorina, you up? We don't have Mike Shine today, so I figure we'll just jump around in random order.
Remember about me, right?
I want to remember you before I forget.
Excellent. Great lesson. I first heard about learning from competition about 4 years ago at one of the success events. And one word stuck to me is modeling. We're not copying, we're not competing, we're not trying to be just like them, we're modeling. So we're all unique, but the model, it's like Tesla, a certain model, but different color, right? You pick your color, it's the same model. And by modeling, you can see that success leaves clues. So you can follow them and see what they do. And I found the best place to do it is networking. Like, how do you feel when you go networking? Do you instantly try to look for clients, or do you actually talk to people who've done it better than you, or at the point where you want to be, right? Do you talk to them? I would suggest talk to them. Talk to the people who own 10 times more than you and model, ask them questions. This is the best place to be. It's free most of the time. So modeling is probably going to make you feel more comfortable also, because you're not trying to be just like them. You are you, but getting the best of someone else who's done it and left the clues. That's my takeaway. Boom.
Let's give Dorina a round of applause. I like that. You mentioned networking, like how most people will go into the room thinking for a client. You and I operate the same way. When we go into the room, we're looking for the person who runs the stage. We're looking for the biggest person in the room, the person with the most units. We first hit that conversation, that relationship, and then we'll shift off from that point. But always go after the biggest, highest leverage point in the room, which is usually somebody you can model. That relationship is the most important relationship. Excellent. Doug McGurk. Which, by the way, Doug, before you jump on, I've got to point out something that I forgot to text you this, and I didn't know how to text it. It was too long of a text. I was going through my videos last week of YouTube, and I was going through all my ratings and where the spikes were in people who followed and were listening on live, and I was like, minute 43. Suddenly a big spike. You know, most people on the call listening, and I went and I was like, what the fuck was minute 43? Doug McGurk. Doug McGurk dropping some fire. So, Doug, you're up.
Well, all right. So, so cool. Right on. I wonder what I was saying. I'm sure it was, had words in it. So
It was good. It was good.
First of all, it's funny. You make jokes about the 6 degrees of separation. And you might be 1 degree through me. It's because I've applied this principle for the last 30 years of surround myself with people who their normal is what I aspire to. So I will naturally be picking up their mindset, their thoughts. Because if you think about like any sport, when you're looking to grow your game, if you're playing, let's say tennis, you play a 12-year-old, you could kick their ass all over the court, right? But are you getting any better? But if you play with someone who's better than you, you are challenged to then play better because you're just naturally being held to a higher standard. And on that note, I play racquetball, and I play the same group of people I've been playing with just because of time. And there's this one guy that I play with occasionally, and he's amazing. And he's like, you're getting really good, but, I see you're stuck. You're playing to win right now, aren't you? You're not playing to grow because they don't challenge you. And it's like that. I was like, man, like, what a distinction and another way to say it. Like, you're playing to win or you're playing to grow. And if you're looking to dominate and destroy the market and all of that, you're going to miss out the opportunities to grow by surrounding yourself with people who are playing at a higher level, who have a different mindset, have a different philosophy. And it could be a tiny shift. That's the thing. For most of us, and this is what, to Terry's point, you think you're doing what you were told to do, but it's that tiny shift is where the magic happens. So it may appear from your model of the world that you're doing what you were just told to do, what you were suggested, but the truth is that you did your version of it, which was kind of the same way you've been doing it, because the difference between success and failure oftentimes is tiny. It could be you're right at the precipice and you keep running that same pattern because of the fear, because of the trepidation, or just the habitual thinking you've been running that you're unable to break free. And then lastly, I'll leave Dorina, what you shared, that if you go to thementormind.com, there's a 3-video training there. And like secret number 1 is that success leaves clues, borrowed from Tony Robbins. And he got that from NLP. If one person has achieved something, anybody can achieve that one thing through modeling. So you find your model and then you just kind of figure out what they're doing, but don't just look at their activities. You got to look at the mindset. You got to look at their beliefs, their values, and their philosophies. And that's why being in a group with like-minded people, having a coach or a mentor is going to help you kind of from the outside looking in, show you those little tweaks. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. I was very serious. I was doing that research on what parts of the video really hit, and apparently everybody sticks around to listen to the coaches. The coaches give a lot of value. Hands to the camera if that's true so far. The coaches give a lot of value at the end. This is like a fire section. I was thinking about cutting it out, making it shorten it, but for me, I personally enjoy listening to the feedback that I'm getting from people I aspire to, people I look up to, people I model every day. So I love it. Doug, great feedback. And if you ever want to connect with somebody on the planet, Doug is like the guy to go to. He knows everybody because he's built these relationships. Also, before we bring up Terry, I wanted to mention for everybody in the mastermind, if you're in our mastermind class this Saturday, I will actually not be there. But fear not, we have a better person in place. Dr. Terry Wager will be running the mastermind this month. So if you're in the mastermind, fear not, it's going to be a unique experience. It could be even better than normal because Dr. Terry Wager will be running it. And show up, bring your idea or your question or your problem. And by the way, for anybody who's not familiar with how the mastermind works, we come with the problem that's stopping us from making $1 million. That's what we come with. Big level problem. What's stopping you from making $1 million? And then we as a community will break that problem down, give you homework, and you go out and you have now a month to go and accomplish it. And when you come back next month, it should be a bigger problem, something else that could be in the way. Hands to camera if you think that's a powerful tool. Yes. Hands to camera if you're in the mentorship and you found it to be extremely powerful.
Mentorship or mastermind?
I'm sorry, mastermind. Awesome. Give our mastermind members a round of applause. The ladies and gentlemen in the mastermind are some really, really powerful alchemists. And so I am going to be missing out this Saturday, but I know that Terry is going to have a huge benefit and each one of you will have a massive benefit. And the only reason I'm not there is because I'm going to personal development myself. I will be in a coaching program, a 3-day coaching program with one of my coaches, taking in the knowledge, making sure that Dorina is there as well. So she and I will be supporting each other in this training, because that's what you do when you have one mission to build 100 millionaires. You keep growing. We're going to our competition to learn from them. In fact, Dr. Terry and Doug know this. We're going to watch somebody to learn how they close in a 3-day event. They close a very valuable product, and we want to learn to make sure that when we do our 3-day event in October, we're delivering some of those experiences, delivering some of those emotional elements to break people out of their shells. It's great that we've done it for years. It's great that we've all had this experience, but wouldn't you agree that knowing that our event is 3 months from now, it's good to sharpen the saw a little bit, make sure that we've got what we've got going on, make sure that other people out there, we're following our competition. Man, I do what I talk about. I do what I preach. It makes sense to teach what you do, not teach what you used to do. Teach what you're currently doing. If you're not currently doing it, maybe you haven't earned the right to teach. Maybe you're one of those people who doesn't belong teaching. And there's a lot of people out there, by the way. And we still buy real estate. We still build businesses. We still go and double and increase our net worth on our income. And I still feel the same stress that each one of you feels when you think about it. I guarantee you, whatever stress there is around doubling, I went through it too. Try doubling 2.4 million, right? It's the same level of stress. Try doubling a $10 million company. It's that same, like whatever yours is right now, I guarantee you mine is no more. It's literally the same. Hands to cam if you know that's true. It's the same emotion, right? Same emotion. I have bigger tools to play with, right? So I'm gonna put the same effort in, but emotionally we're suffering the same thing. Speaking of emotions, when Dr. Terry Wager came to us, his course originally was called Emotional Mastery. And I thought, damn, that's exactly what the people need. But the people didn't know that. And so he changed it to Generator Income, because that's what Emotional Mastery does. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. Terry, you're up. Your feedback for the day.
I think that so much has been said. Doug was awesome with what he was saying, and Ryan, and I think the bomb dropper today was Dorina. Really, we're all in it to build, to grow, to become something more than what we are. And Doug brought this term to us a while back called Philanthro Capitalism. And the idea of Philanthro Capitalism is to be a philanthropist through being able to grow your business and grow your income and grow your wealth so that you can give back to the more needy. And that is, for me, exactly what Generator is all about, is exactly what Alchemist Nation is all about, is to be able to get ourselves to a place where we are so abundant we can help other people. But the problem is that our ego, our inner voice, our voice that talks to us, gets in the way. It absolutely gets in the way of us moving forward, because it's the thing that causes us to hesitate. It's the thing that keeps us safe and protected. And when we're safe and protected, we get really comfortable. And then thinking about moving forward gets uncomfortable. It creates that discomfort. And so, you know what? It's really safe in here. We don't want to move forward. And so we hesitate, we procrastinate, we start getting in our own way. We come up with excuses. We put roadblocks up. We talk about performance blocks at Generator. We end up creating so many performance blocks it seems like just making our bed is the simplest thing. We have such an accomplishment making our bed, and then we feel good. The reality is when we start listening to just the brilliance of others, modeling what they did, doing what they did, getting their results, we start to see a way forward. And what Generator talks about more than anything is we got tools, we got processes that help you to actually adopt what we do to build our business so you can build your business. Alchemist and Generator are working together with a number of the other coaches, bringing all our process together to help you become the millionaire that you want to be so you can help other people. It's a mission of love and service. We are moving forward, helping people because we love to help people. We love to see the growth, and we want to be those people because our ego says, you know what? It's awesome to watch people grow. And so that's what we're doing. And, you know, if you haven't read my book, I suggest it. It's still 99 cents on Kindle. We don't want to make it difficult for you to be able to grow. But once you read it, then you're going to want to buy it. Once you buy it, you really ought to start working with us if you want to grow your business. Alchemist Nation is a great group of people to connect with and to build your business. But when you want to get the processes and systems in to go faster, that's what we do. And we'll help you too. So reach
Get on
out.
the bullet train of action.
Get on the freaking bullet train.
Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. A close friend. Each one of these coaches are who I would say are my closest friends. Like, these are the people who I spend my time with. And if I'm going to fly somewhere, I'm going to call them and say, hey, let's hang out. Like, this is what the life I chose, right? The life I chose is be around people who are inspiring others, who are helping others, who are growing others. And I'm looking to build a community that will do that as well. So I thank each one of you for hanging out with us today. We're going to open it up to questions and comments. Anybody wants to just state something that you learned, or if there's questions around the topic today, I want you to open up and give that opportunity. But before I do open up, I have one big ask. This is a major ask, and it's going to sound like a small ask because I know it's be easy for you, but it's a big ask for me. I'm going to go do hook videos so that I can spend about $20,000 to $40,000 a month on advertisement to bring more people into the community. But I have a problem. I have been rich for a very long time, and I don't remember all of the pain points. I don't remember all of the problems that people are suffering, the reason they want to make money. So if you could, and to create a great hook, and this is a good lesson for anybody, you have to have a hook story offer. And so you have to have a problem and then a solution. I don't really have too many problems, and the problems I have, most people can't relate to. Hands to the camera if you know that's true, right? Like, oh, I don't want to take the time to go schedule my next trip. Can somebody else do that for me? Right? Like, not as normal person problem. So if you could drop in the chat a problem that you experienced that motivated you to be on a call like this, that motivated you to think about making $1 million, some sort of pain or problem in your life that you could just share with me. And I do deeply appreciate any ideas so that I can go and create content that hopefully will inspire others. And so for everybody who participates in that, I want to give you a special round of applause. Thank you for sharing and helping me with my mission. And for everybody else, open it up to questions or comments, something that you want to share with the community or ask the coaches.
I'll say something.
It's Andrew and then you, Jen.
Sorry. So when you talk about studying or buying into the product, and I remember you had me do this when I was doing paint nights parties, but something I've been doing for my career probably for the past 60 years is studying under master sculptors. And it kind of goes with the sports analogy, but my father said this to me when I was a teenager and it stuck. But he always said, if you want to be a champion, you got to practice like a champion. So when you're studying under the masters or the people that have known more or done more, it's about serving them and learning too about if this is the kind of lifestyle you want to live. Is it like, do you relate to the people? Can they understand, the lifestyle of how they think, the different methods? And yeah, so it's just It's like you said, you learn more about the industry and about the process that it takes to get there, and the time, like how long it takes to become a real estate investor and to be really good at it compared to how long it takes to become a master sculptor and to be really good at it. Totally different timelines and
Not true.
things.
Nope, 7 years. Still 7 years. Regardless.
Yes.
Real estate investors just make more money. That's all.
But I mean, when I'm talking about time, and I wouldn't necessarily say real estate investors necessarily make more money but whatever.
You'd have to.
That's not
you would have to if you were right.
It's kind of the talk about you failed enough time, you're able to like foresee what's going to happen next.
Actually, Sandra, I've got Roger Andrews on the call right now. Roger is my millionaire artist. So I've been meaning to connect you two.
Hey.
Roger, what's up, brother? So you would say that of art, and you are very talented, very professional artist. You get paid very well for what you do, and you've created a really unique brand. But real estate is that's where your net worth is held.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely converted all of my earnings from illustration over the years into real estate, and grown exponentially.
Hell yeah!
And the reality is, there's the generational wealth, there's the passive income. It's all generated not from the art, but from the real estate.
And that allows you to spend more time creating art, which does create income as well.
Right. But the reality is I'm sorry, go ahead.
What kind of artwork do you do?
I'm a commercial artist. I'm a professional illustrator. So essentially, I do artwork for corporations.
This shit's amazing.
Illustrators is a bit different than sculpture.
So
one of the things
that I would say is, really, when we get into the no hold bards cage match of which is better, for developing massive amounts of cash, real estate is going to be it. But when you look at sculpture and paintings and things, over time, they can become worth millions of dollars. The unfortunate piece of that is the artist usually has to die in order to become worth that much money. And so
I want to live, Terry. I want to live.
I want to live.
I want to live. Roger, I'm sorry.
I'm with you, Roger. And I love it. So Sandra, I've wanted you to meet Roger for so long because he is a extremely successful artist. And I would say that he's also an extremely successful real estate investor. And so you can be both. And for everybody out there who's thinking, well, I do my main business, do I have time for real estate? Real estate, and you may want to write this down or listen to it, is an investment. Investments don't take time if you do them right. Real estate is an investment. It takes the acquisition time, and then management can be really, really automated if you do it right. Or you could be involved in the management, but unless you've got, we'll say 20, 30 units, this is not a full-time job, right? I've had 20, 30 units and still had a full-time job and was perfectly fine. Some months I never even hear from my tenants. And you have a week or two where it's like a lot of work if you're going through 2 evictions. So real estate is an investment. It's not a job. It's an investment. What you do for a living is how you get the money to go and make that investment. But it is the highest leverage investment you can buy on the market right now. So Sandra, great feedback. I really do love that you're sharing your experience with experts. You've studied under experts, both in the financial arena and in the artistic arena. She's studied under the best, and she's looking to identify what she wants. And what's interesting about Sandra is whatever she wants, she ends up getting. She wants to live in, we've seen this, right? As a community enhanced cam, if you've followed her journey, right? Hey, I live in Australia now, right? Now I live in Spain. Now I'm studying under the greatest sculptor in the world in Spain. Like, how crazy is that? When you set your goals, your true goals, your burning desire goal to financial success, it will happen without a question. But as long as you're just looking for experiences and traveling the world and certain levels of academia, then that's what you'll get. So hands to the camera if there's no right or wrong here. It's okay to be chasing academia or certain levels of personal success. And that's Sandra has literally accomplished everything she set her goal to. Like literally everything she's hit because she's following masters. She's finding and identifying the masters of the area and going after it. I want to open up to other questions, other comments, other statements.
I was going to ask if you have any suggested business plan or marketing plan templates that one could use to start to incorporate these ideas that we get from competitors.
You know,
Wow.
I would love to jump in on that one. And Tom, if you're looking to have a template, that's what modeling is all about. And so the problem is you go and look at all of the people doing parallel businesses and you're going to get 432 templates. And the idea is to really get with somebody who knows how to grow businesses and talk about, okay, these are all of the ideas I have. How can I make them work for me with how I do what I do? And so what you're really looking for is a coach who can help you implement what you're doing. And what tends to happen is go, oh, you know what? My head is telling me that I just need a good template and then I can do it myself. And one of the things I always talk about with our clients, especially in the beginning, is if you think you're going to do it yourself, think about surviving yourself. You're going to have to be on a mountain or near a stream or somewhere. You're going to have to kill the squirrels and cook them and eat them because there is no stores anymore. There is no gas. There is no anything. You got to make your own weapons. You got to make your own fire. You got to do all of that stuff if you're doing it on your own.
I love
this
that.
world is all about doing things together.
Yeah, get on the bullet train, Tom. Get on
the bullet train.
Tom, because I know you so well and I know what your goals are and what you're looking to accomplish, and because you came through the mentorship, I would say that Terry would be a good investment. You may want to have that conversation with Terry and just see what's possible. And his group coaching is really affordable. It makes a lot of sense for what you're looking to do. But Tom, I've seen you close deals in New York when nobody else was closing deals in New York. I know that you're capable of doing a lot more and hitting your goals. And here's what I'll tell you, the same thing I tell my dad, right? My dad's getting up there in age and I tell him, he's like, well, son, I'm older. I can't take the risks that you can take. And I look at him, I'm like, Dad, I'm young. I can take those risks, but I don't have to. You do.
You can't afford not to.
Right. You can't afford not to take the risks at this point because your working years are running out and we've got to get you passive. We got to get you to massive passive income so that you can live like Hugh Hefner, man, like live like a king, like get out there and marry the 3 wives, Tom. Kidding. Not kidding. So do what you want to do, whatever ambitions you set to, do it faster. Right. And at this point, you have to think like a millionaire. Just leverage other people to get those answers faster, to get other people to do things for you. So I see Julie's actually holding her hand up.
Okay, thank you.
Jamie, I also know that
Put my link in the chat for you, Tom.
I saw your digital hand up, which isn't as much effort as holding her hand up. So she's getting points. Julie, you're up.
Thank you, Walter.
Then Jamie, you're right after her.
2 things. I always talk about nerves, but I actually got a great pointer from Ron Bowling. He said to hit the view button on the top right and just put the presenter on and it looks like you're talking to them personally. So that was a great piece of advice for anyone who needs to overcome that fear of speaking. That's the first takeaway. The second takeaway for the principal this week is I've actually invested in a marketing analysis plan from a Fiverr person, and it's just sitting there and I'm like, okay, what do I do with it now? And so I'm so grateful every time I show up. I mean, the value is through the roof of what you get out of being here, because now I know what I need to do with that material. So thank you, and thank you.
Let's give Julie Bradley a round of applause. She is impressive. If you want to talk about somebody who's found a way to get a mentor that nobody can freaking get, Ron, not a coach Bowling, right? My business partner does not coach anybody. And yet Julie Bradley's dropping fire from Ron. That's clever. That's outside the box. I love it. So Julie, if you're looking for a great bookkeeper, Julie is our bookkeeper. She does all accounting for South Coast Capital Investments, and she's making running our business so much easier. We should have done it years ago, but we didn't have this community years ago. It was building this community that gave us access to the tools that we were looking for as well. So let's give Julie one more round of applause. Jamie, you're up.
So may I say something?
Oh, you know what? Yes, because I forgot to say yes to you earlier. Thank you for calling me out on my shit. And
Yeah,
Jamie,
no,
just
don't
one
worry.
more. Sorry. Go ahead, brother.
My question is like because I actually in the United States and the Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, a real estate agent and an investor. So right now, does you have any the course can help to me make it over the 100 million? Because to me 100 million is a lot of money, you know. Even though I know a lot of real estate agent in the Singapore and Malaysia or United States or Canada, they also is not easier can make it over 100 million. So did you have any course and can help us to make $100 million? And also, what if we are joining about your members and take your class? How can you help us and make it more like 100 million? Because anybody want to make 100 million, that's a lot of money and a decent money.
So Eugene, I love the question, and I got to be honest, right? I can only teach what I've ever done. So the most I've ever accomplished and gotten to is a $10 million company. And the most I've ever earned in a year was about $1.4 million. So that's the maximum of what I've accomplished. But I can theorize and I can speculate on how you would get to 100 million. And the easiest answer is you could partner with 100 people in 100 businesses that become $2 million businesses. You're a 50-50 partner of 100 businesses that become $2 million businesses. Or you could do what Elon Musk has done, raise capital and invest in a model that is super unique that can be extremely high earning. But 100 million is going to take a long-term dedication. Are you willing to dedicate 10 years to build a $100 million business? Is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yeah, I wish I can.
Yes. So then
I wish I can, or I'm going to.
I'm going to. Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to.
So then, Eugene, I'm going to walk you through a very simple process, the same way I set my goal to build $1 billion company. First, I took $1 billion. For your situation, we'll start with 100 million. And I took 100 million. I wrote it on a piece of paper, and everybody can follow along with this. But whatever your big 10-year goal is, write it down on a piece of paper, and then cut it in half. So the next number would be 50 million. So cut it in half. So we'll just say it takes 1 year to get from 50 million to 100 million. And then we'll cut that number in half again. That's 25 million. So we'll say it takes 3 years to get to the 100 million from the point we've got 25 million. Cut that in half, that's 12.5 million. Cut that in half, that's 6.25 million. And cut that in half again, you got we'll round it to 3 million, 1.5 million, cutting down to 7,500,000, cutting that down to, whoa, shit, now I'm getting to the tough part. Anybody got that? $325,000. Cutting it down, it gets more realistic, right? We're getting easier and easier, down to 150, down to 75,000, down to 35,000. So that's about 10 years, right, Eugene? As we went through that, in that process, just double your business every year, wherever you're at currently, just double it. But I'd say if you're under that 100,000 mark, you could I know because I 5 times my business. When I was earning 17,000 a year, getting to 100,000 was pretty easy once my mindset was there. I went from 17,000 a year to 100,000 in 1 year. So I feel that most people can jump to that 100,000 mark pretty easy, relatively quickly. If you have the right team around you, if you have the mentorship, if you have students, accountability partners who are doing the same thing, who are earning at that higher level. And the best tip I've gotten is you are the average of your 5 closest friends. So if you want to earn 100 million, get a friend who's earning 100 million, work for them, partner with them, study under them, pay them, whatever you have to do, get that friend who's already earning at that level and set the goal. Maybe you don't meet them this year, but if you're hell bent on meeting them, maybe you meet them next year, right? I'm going after Grant Cardone in like a mean, crazy way. So I'm meeting up with his friends, right? I'm going after Grant. So I'm like, okay, Ken Walls, now my coach. So Ken Walls is close friends with Grant. So that's one step closer. We called up his office the other day. We talked to Alex to see what it would cost to get Grant out to the 100 Millionaire Summit in October. $250,000. I was like, well, okay, maybe we're not there yet. I'm not ready to throw a $250,000 at 30 minutes with Grant.
Almost.
You know? So, but setting the goal, like maybe next year, that's what I'll do, right? Like setting those goals, setting the bar at those different levels. And I know people who are making this happen, right? As I get closer to that, setting that goal. So Eugen, again, I can't tell you stuff I haven't done, but I gave you some guesses, some theory behind it that's backed up with stuff I've seen work very well. Is that helpful?
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Okay.
Very welcome, brother. Let's give Eugen a round of applause. I'll tell you, build 100 millionaires, you get a whole lot closer. You help people you're a real estate agent, help people buy and invest in real estate. And if they cash flow, they'll buy again next year. They'll buy again next year, buy again the year after. You build those men and women into millionaires, and you're going to make a whole lot of money in that process. Jamie Tatro, I feel like we've been waiting so long to hear your piece. You're up.
Wow, that's just some good nuggets dropped there. Because when you look at the big picture and it's like 100 million and you're like, holy crap, but then, you know, breaking it down in halves like that makes it seem more attainable. So thanks for that. My question was going back to the competition. Okay, so I have to go back and think about my question. So paying them, it's about the paying them to, you know, is that for the experience of what it is that they're giving to their clients so that you can see that and model after that? And at what point would you say would be a good time to invest that money, especially if you're just starting out and you really don't have that kind of capital? Like, so what advice would you give to someone that doesn't have the capital to, you know, learn under someone that's, you know, 10x their business?
Oh, I love it. That's a great question. That's a real question. That's the right question, which means Jamie's looking to take action. So she's thinking about going and doing this right now, which is why that question comes up. When people aren't taking action, they don't ask good questions. So awesome. You just have to go and get the consultation. Sit in the room with them. Like if you can't afford to take on their business yet or go and pay them, get in the room, find out the process right up to the customer service, right up to the close, and then let them handle your objections. Write down everything, learn the process. How did they get you in through the door? How do they treat you once you're in? What are they telling you is in the program that they're going to provide you? What does their service look like or their product look like? Their brochure, get their brochure, everything they sent you, every email they sent you, now you're in a follow-up funnel, right? So they're gonna be sending you extra emails, copy and paste into your follow-up files. Everything that they bring you through once you come through the door is something to aspire to. It's a tool, it's a resource. If you don't have the money yet to go and get through the rest of their process, then solve their marketing piece, right? They take all the marketing materials and go and put that into place. Once you've done enough marketing, you will eventually be able to afford their back end. Pay for the back end and improve your back end. It starts with the front end. The first thing you want to model from a business or a competitor is their front end. How are they bringing people through? Follow their advertisements, follow their campaigns, follow their emails, follow their social media, copy what they're doing. You know, use different colors, use a different brand, but copy what is working for somebody else, model it, right? Model it in a healthy way. And I said this to all my agents when I built a brokerage, and I say this to every investor, model what I do. I teach to get more leads. I train to get more leads. I train to get more clients. Do what I do. You can't compete with me. All you can do is add value to my mission, which is to build 100 millionaires. So do the same exact thing. And if a competitor ever comes back and sues you, well, fuck, congratulate yourself for being caught, right? Like that means you became a big fish. Like that means you got to a level where they noticed you, right? Like you actually got noticed. I have copied a lot of really successful people. They've never noticed, right? Sadly, unfortunately, they've never caught me. You know, I'm dying for the day. Like, I'm so big that one of my competitors comes in and says, yeah, that phrase that you use, that's ours. 52 wealth principles. I came up with that 10 years ago. We've been using it the whole time, which, by the way, Google it. You won't find anybody but me. We're apparently the only ones who recognize that there are 52 weeks in the year and 52 wealth principles. So, you know, but even if I was using something that isn't unique, who cares, right? Nobody's going to come down and say, by the way, until Jamie, you're blessed with the opportunity to handle a lawsuit, in which case financially it'd be totally worth it. Let's give Jamie Tatro a round of applause. She's growing, and that's great advice for everybody. That's why I love these questions at the end. You ask the questions that everybody else should be asking because you're action takers.
If I could add something for Jamie, one of the other things is if you're looking to learn from your competition, see what you can do to joint venture with them. That's one of the biggest things that I've done is when I'm not sure what's going on or how they're doing what they're doing. Hey, I'll become your model student. I'll become your asset. I will become whatever I need to do. The coach that Walter is going to see while I'm running the mastermind this next Saturday is a partner, a friend, a relationship that I have now, because when I first met him, he was actually introduced to me by one of my mentors. And so me and Christine, who's actually standing right next to me, we entered his program. And then the first thing we did is we like what's going on. We want to learn how you're doing what you're doing. How can we be of service to you? And we ran his back room. We volunteered for everything he did. We set up, we broke down, we traveled with him. We went all over the different places to learn his process. And his whole time that we were doing this, well, he didn't know. He was inviting us, learn what I'm doing. This is how you learn. Come, set up, watch how I talk to people, watch how I work with them, watch what I do. Take what you can from what we're doing, and then what you don't like I'm doing, don't do it. Do something different. And this is what we've done for every relationship we have. We watch what they do. We take different pieces that work for us, that are moving, that work, and the way we think about things, the way we're doing things. It's all about the modeling and bringing into a new way of doing things, because that's the synergy of different minds coming together. It's the brilliance of others really helping you to move forward. And so if you have somebody in mind that you see as competition, talk to them. I know you're talking to Mike Shine about how to do your law practice. That's exactly what we're talking about. You're already doing it. You have a Paula on here. I don't know if she's still on here. She was earlier, but you guys are talking about working together. That's two parallel businesses coming together. All of a sudden, instead of being the lone piece of Kit Kat, you guys are a candy bar. And so it's like, left Twix and right Twix. You're coming together and being that parallel business working together, because you can do one thing, she can do another, or maybe you do the same things, but together you know more people, and who resonate with me might not resonate with Walter. Resonate with Walter might not resonate with me. And then as they're in our community, they start to realize, oh, it wasn't that it doesn't resonate. It was that I wasn't as open as I am now. Now I'm ready. And so it is all about the relationships, using your resources to get your results.
So powerful. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. Jamie, great question. Opening the mindset for everybody on the call. And, when we see the call dropping off, right, the people who are jumping off, who have other things to do, I want you to know, like, you can jump off at any time. But the people who are staying on for these questions, you are the hungry ones. You are the ones who are saying, look, I've got an extra 10 minutes. I got an extra 20 minutes, whatever it takes to get that extra piece of knowledge. You're exactly the way me and the other coaches are. That desire for the answer, the secret, the extra sauce, whatever it is, it's the reason I read the next book, a book a week, because I don't know what's on the next page. But that next page could be the thing that sparks an idea that goes and creates $1 million business, another $1 million business for one of our students or one of our partners or an investor. Who knows what information is going to trigger something for you? But as long as you're always that person who's staying open and aware and alert for good advice, for good suggestions, solving problems from other people's answers, you will get your goal. You will hit it. Stay open, stay engaged, stay aware, and stay hungry. Because I don't care what level you get at, you got to do something in life. You got to do something. And many of you are builders. Doreen and I were talking about it the other day. Like, what do I do when I have everything accomplished? I take on a new project. I'm a high D personality. 10% of the population will understand me, and the other 90% just won't get it, right? When I accomplish something, I'm not going to the beach to celebrate. I'm not going to a party for 3 months. Once I hit that next level of accomplishment and new level of income, I've now acquired a new asset. I'm going to go teach it. I'm going to go build a new course. I'm going to inspire more. I'm going to go and identify another business to build, because that's where I have fun. Hanson Camp, you have fun in a way that's unique to you. It's your special way of having fun. So becoming a millionaire will do whatever it does for you, right? It's okay to keep growing if that's what you aspire to do. It's okay to take time off. It's okay to relax and do something else. Whatever your desire is that $1 million will accomplish, do it. And then learn the next desire, discover the next realm. Whatever comes for you after this is yours. It's okay to be you. And I'm so blessed to be surrounded by a community that really wants to grow, sees themselves growing, sees themselves as capable of more. You're that balloon of helium under the water. Who knows how you got dragged down there? We don't know what the process was, but I know that you have a place that you belong. There's a place in the atmosphere that you're going to get to. And I just want to make sure that we're creating that tool for you, that aspect that is going to give you that unfair advantage to get to the top where you belong. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best. I'll see you guys next week.
Always work with the best, the best, the best, best, best.